I'm Chris from Penrose Outdoors in Truro. Thanks for tuning in to another one of our YouTube product reviews. Today we're standing in Carnan Downs campsite in this lovely sunny weather, ready to show you the new and improved Vango Kela 2 awning. So if you didn't watch it last year we did a review on the Kela 1, which was the first model out, which proved very, very popular for all the van owners for a little bit of extra space. Well, this year they've improved it with the Kela 2, so they've added various features, and today we're going to get it out of the bag, show you the new features, show it how it's pitched, and go from there. Okay, so we've got the awning all packed up in its bag. Before we take it out, I just wanted to give you an idea of the pack size of it. So you can see here it's less than 80 centimetres, so it's very easily packable, very easily storageable in the van. In terms of weight as well, it's just over 17 kilos, so again, very user-friendly in terms of weight. Obviously the air beams don't weigh as much as steel frames, so it's much lighter in its general form. And also when you're packing it away, obviously we haven't got that far yet, but in experience, this bag is very large, easy to pack away. It's got lots of compression straps, so just makes life very easy when packing away. So we're going to take it out of its bag, have a look at it. You can see there how easily it just slides out of the bag, all rolled up, packaged. Best way of packing these away is definitely to fold them sort of in thirds and then roll it up and then put it in the bag. So accessory wise, we should have a pump in here, which we've got, which is the new and improved pump for the new AirBeams, but we'll go into that in a minute. All the pegs, all the support beams, again slightly beefed up for next year, but we'll talk about that in a minute, and then the mallets, pegs, etc. So all of that comes with it. One thing you'll notice as well this year, they don't come with the figure of eights that you might have found in them in the previous years. They do need to be bought separately if you are planning on driving away. It just makes life a lot easier. So awning itself, let's unpack it. So as of last year, from doing this, we decided that the easiest, and from lots of customer comments, the easiest way of putting this up is to connect it to the van first, whichever connection method you're doing. We'll go into the connection methods in a minute. Connect it to the van first, peg it out, and then pump it up. By far the easiest way of putting these awnings up, and they do take sort of 5 or 6 minutes. It's very, very quick and easy. So we're just going to find the front and the back. Okay, so as we found out last year in our review video, the easiest way of pitching these is to connect it to the van first and then pump it up. So we're going to use this throw over the top strap method, which actually Vango provide, and in my experience it's the easiest and most versatile method for all vans. We don't have any guttering, we don't have any roof bars, and I'll run through the different connection methods later with you, but just for time's sake and for what vehicle we've got here, we're going to use this quick and easy method. So you get the straps that come with it provided, connect it to near where the K-door strip is, so this would be what you put into your sort of figure of eights, but we're not going to be using that, and then you literally just walk around your vehicle, pull it up nice and tight. Okay, so you can see we've got it connected to the van now. Just going to peg it down roughly. It's not in this spot, it will end up I'm sure in the end, because once it's pumped up, but just for stability's sake when the wind's blowing and we're pumping up. So we'll just peg it down. And now we're going to look at pumping it up, the main event. Okay, so we're on to the new features for 2015. So what's new? Well, the AirBeam system has slightly changed. First and foremost, you get a new pump, different pump. So this year they've made it a metal alloy instead of plastic for the dual action pump, which makes it a lot smoother and less likely to break when you're pumping. They've also added a pressure release valve as well, so if you get too high in the pressure, it just releases it out of the valve rather than going into the tubes and potentially bursting them. You've also got a beefed up pressure gauge, so you know exactly how much pressure you're putting into the actual beams themselves. Just literally connect that into the inflation part. There's an inflate and a deflate, and then you're connecting the hose onto that, and then you're using the new system of valves. Okay, so we are going to focus a little bit on this new airspeed system because it is integral to all of the new AirBeam awnings and especially to the Kela 2. So this is just the support beam that we looked at earlier. So the idea is this works on a cam system. So you can see there that we're actually in the open position. So at the moment, all the air can go out of the actual beam. Once it's put into the closed position, which you can do either by using your fingers, just like that, or there is, if you're not too dexterous, then there is a little bit on the back there of the cap that you can twist it into position and see whether it's closed or open. Or you can just press down on it and it will relieve all the air out of the actual tube. The cap itself will obviously just pop onto it and twist shut, so you've got a very firm, secure closure, no chance of anything leaking. And as well, it comes into its own when you're actually putting the tube into the tent to pump it up. It twists and locks into position, so therefore you're not going to get any like ejections from it when you're pumping it up, and it can get a little bit frustrating, especially if you're getting towards the top PSI. It would just spring out. So this actually locks into position, so there's no chance of it popping out. The one thing I would say when you are actually blowing up the tent, just make sure it's into the closed position before you pop the hose into it, because what will happen is once you get to the end of blowing it up, you'll take it out and all the air will expel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to twist that into position and we're just going to blow that up. And because it's in a closed position, it all stays nice and closed, and then you can pop the cap on and you're sealed. Then when it comes to actually putting it down, you can either press down and that will let it out, or you can twist that into the open position and it will all come out. So you may have noticed this year they've moved the inflation points totally. So no longer are they tucked away behind the air beam and very difficult to get to. This year they're at waist level, really simple, just to get your hose in and get pumping straight away. It makes a massive difference when you're pumping up because you're not fiddling around behind, especially when it's lying on the floor and you're sort of trying to put it up from the ground up. So that's a great added improvement. Along with that, because you've no longer got the little flaps that you have to go in and unzip, it's added a lot of extra room for ventilation. So you can see there, all this bottom section here is vented. So obviously for condensation and letting out moisture from the tent, it's a lot more effective. Got a lot more guy lines, clipped on guy lines, very strong. And then another real bonus feature on both sides of this, you get a doorway to get straight into your van. So basically, I'm doing here, so you don't have to traipse through the whole of the tent to get out at night, especially if you've got someone sleeping. You can come straight out of your van. And you can see there, if you want to have a look into there, you can come straight out of your van and straight into the outside. So you're not disturbing anyone that's sleeping in there, or you're not walking over or traipsing muddy shoes straight in. You've got a direct access to the van. So that's a great little extra, I think. Cameraman Chris has got one of these from last year and he says this is a great little addition because he used to just sort of get in through there anyway, so great little addition. Moving on to the sort of more standard features that have sort of run through the models. from last year and this year. So you've got 150 denier, so very, very strong, very good quality. It's going to be durable, it's going to last a long time. So that's the actual nylon fabric. You've got 6,000mm hydrostatic head, so industry standard to make something waterproof is 1,500. I'd say the majority of sort of middle spec tents are 3,000mm hydrostatic head. This being 6,000 is exceptionally waterproof. It's fully tape seamed as well all around the beams. They've really worked on that to making sure that there's nothing coming through. And then you've got the tension band system that when we go inside we'll have a look at. The obvious features, again running through last year's models as well, is the actual attention to detail on the entrance part. You'll see there that there is actually a window, but behind that there's a curtain. So we're going to walk around in a minute and I'm going to show you how you can actually open that to allow a lot of light in. But behind that there's a full bug guard and a fully integral ground sheet. So there's basically fully sewn in ground sheet, so no bugs are going to get in. If you've got children and you want to zip them in and you don't want them getting out underneath, then that's not going to happen. Or pets, especially if you want to keep them in this front bit, they're not going to escape anywhere, especially if you've got that all done up. Keep moving around. There's a door on this side. I've actually rolled away the nylon sheet. There isn't a window or anything behind that. That is just one part of nylon, and then you've got another bug guard, or just it just lets a lot more air flow through. So you can open that up and go straight into the tent. Okay, so I mentioned the front door a second ago. So the different options you get with the front door. Obviously you get this bug guard that we just undo. Roll that away. Get that out of the way. Real quick and easy elastics as well, which is useful. And then you've got this curtain that just totally unzips both sides. And then just quickly and simply stores away into a little pocket. And then again you've got the bungees there that just does it. So you've got a nice load of air and light coming into the tent. And then if needs be, just totally undo the front door. So yeah, quite a few nice options at the front. So we've got this 2-person bedroom that actually comes with the Kela too, same as last year. It comes as part of the price. Just unzip it. So you've also got a nice bit of mesh around the top there, so when you're actually sleeping you let a bit of air into the tent, and then unzip it fully, and then this just folds away into a nice little triangular pocket there, so it's quite easy and simple to do. Lots of space, pockets in there, and like I said, lots of mesh to give it a bit of breathing room. As with all of the AirBeam tents and a lot of the Vango tents, they all come with this TBS2 system. So this is what they call a tension band system. The idea behind this is that it supports the tent. You'd probably put this up in higher winds or when it's getting windier, and it just adds to the structure. So this clicks into the top here, just with a simple clip, and then you can tension it up, and what that effectively is doing is giving it structural strength from the bottom into a triangle to the middle, so that when it's swaying in the wind it supports itself. So you would have another one on the other side going down in the same direction, you get a triangular structure. So yeah, structurally more stable. Obviously when you don't want them up and you don't want to walk into them, you just tuck them away into the pocket. The other thing that they've slightly changed as well this year is the actual structural support beams. They've beefed this up a lot more. Last year it was a lot thinner, nowhere near as stable. This year they've just put one into the top and it is a lot more of a stable, beefier beam. Other added extras you're going to get inside, you've got curtains that just cover the windows on the side, so you can just unclip them. So you get, again, adding a little bit of extra light into the tent if you need it. This bedroom will unclip, and you can take it down if you want a little bit of extra space. The only one thing I would say is you can't put it into the other side. It always has to be in this left-hand side. There are no clips on this side to attach it to. And then the back little spacer here, this separates you from the van. So especially if you've got people sleeping in this area and they want some privacy, you just basically, you can block them all off. Or there is a zip along the bottom there. So again, that's sewn in, but ground sheet comes into its own. Again, if you've got a pet or anything in here and you don't want it escaping, that does zip up. And it is just a single piece of nylon that runs across this. Unzip that. And you are straight into the van. Right, so we've just pulled the bedroom down and put it onto the floor there so that you can get an idea of how much space you get without the bedroom in it. But it also leads us on to another point of interest, and that's how the actual beams are positioned into the tent and secured into the tent. So you can see here there's a couple of zips in the tent, and you'll see that there's a couple of layers before you actually get to the AirBeam. So God forbid you ever puncture one of these, someone runs into it with a knife, something like that, you can replace the actual beam itself very, very easily. So this is actually just the holding part of fabric. So that just holds the beam in place when you're actually pumping up the tent. And then you'll also notice there's another zip running completely through the actual, over the top of the AirBeam. This is a heavy denier Oxford nylon, so as tough as anything, you know, you can really give that a lot of abuse and it's not going to let anything through. It's fully rip stop as well. It's just very, very highly durable. So if you did ever need to replace it, there is a zip right in the middle there, so people can't just easily get to it, and you can undo that and you'll find the actual plastic beam inside of that. Right, so now we're going to cover an area that we probably get the most questions about in store. So if you are unsure of anything that I'm going to say, I'm going to try and cover it in as much detail as possible. But if you are unsure of anything, then give us a call and we can sort of talk you through anything, or come into the store and we can show you what the best connection systems are for your van. So obviously every van is slightly different and you may have different fixings on your van. The three that come with the actual awning themselves to connect the system are the one that we've just used here. The simplest sort of solution for most vans is the throw over strap. So we've used that, we've showed that that works well. The other option, if you've got them, is the roof bar method. So there's 3 straps all the way along, running along this strip, that you can literally just Velcro and connect your van to the awning by just Velcroing it to the roof bar strap. So that's really easy, really simple to do. Okay, third option that comes with it is this Kela strip, which is a very important part of it. A lot of people have connection systems that will use this, and also, which I'll talk about in a minute, is the drive-away method. So if you have something called C-rail on your van, which is, we've just got positioned down here. So if you've already drilled this in, or you want to buy it separately and drill this to your van, it's probably the most secure method. Obviously, this just basically drills onto your van, sticks on the side, and then what you can do, you can see the Kela strip on the actual awning there connected. It's got a 6mm beading running through it, and what you literally do, you just thread the beading through the C-clip, and it's secure and fastened really well onto that. So that's the C-clip method. Now then, if you've got J-rail on your van, which looks like this, so in the shape of a J, if you look down it, you can see why it's called J-rail. What you would need then is a figure of 8, or a couple of figure of 8, and what they do, the figure of 8 is the same, exactly the same size as the beading. So again, it will just slip through the beading there on one side, and then when this is drilled onto the side of your van, that just literally clips onto the top and sits, and it relies on the downward pressure of the actual awning to stop it from falling off. So it's still very secure, but it's whether or not you want to drill onto your van and put these on. But if you've already got it on there, then that's perfect. The other method that again you would need to buy separately is the pole and clamp system. So you may have looked at this already and been sort of baffled by it, but basically these are for those vans that have got some sort of guttering on them, or a rain gutter on it. More common probably in the Type 2 old school sort of Volkswagen vans, but what they provide you with is a sleeve, just like you'd get in a pole and sleeve tent, along the actual awning there, and you thread that through. It's just by the Kela strip. Thread that through, and imagine if you were to have a little guttering there, So what you would have is a small guttering rail that's at a 90-degree angle, and you've got that pole running through there, and then you just tighten that clamp and it basically secures itself using that L-shaped part there and this sort of tubular structure on there, and it just secures itself to the van. Without actually, I mean, if you know what the actual lipped guttering looks like, then you'll understand what I'm saying. But if you've never seen one before, then it might be a bit alien to you. But that's just for those people with the older sort of style of Type 2 vans, Volkswagen vans. Right, so the other connection methods that we get asked a lot about are those for those people that have already got a motorhome and they've got a Fiamma awning, so one of the pull-out awnings on the side of it. And the easiest method for those is to buy a 4 to 6 mil cable strip. So what that does is, you've got the cable strip running along the awning there already, and what a Fiamma awning has, it has a type of C-rail like this, but instead of it being 6mm wide, which fits this side, it's 4mm wide. So obviously if you were to put that in there, it would more than likely slip out. But the Fiamma one's a lot narrower, a lot smaller, so 4mm. So what you're getting is the 4mm threading through the Fiamma awning that way, and then what you will need is a figure of 8 to go onto this side, so the 6mm part. So imagine you've got your Fiamma section here, so 4mm beading going into the Fiamma, then you've got your figure of 8 on the 6mm, and then you connect this side to the other part of your awning here. So you've got basically a 4mm part there with the Fiamma, 6mm part threading through to your awning, and you're connected to your Fiamma awning. So that's what they call the conversion kit, 4 to 6mm. That can be sold in just a full strip as well, and then you take the figure of 8s to go with it. Last but not least, for convenience, some people might want to buy what they call a drive-away kit. And basically the idea of that is so that you're not, every time you're driving away, having to thread this whole piece off of your van, especially if you're connected with this C-rail. What you can do is buy an extra section of cable strip with some figure of 8s, thread the cable extra strip through there, grab one of your figure of 8s that come with it. You get 3 figure of 8s with each pack, so it will thread the whole way along. Then you can grab this figure of 8 and put it onto the actual strap there. So imagine this part is connected to your van, and then thread the actual awning through the van like that, and then to take it off you can just unthread this figure of 8 right the way off and then drive away conveniently, and it just makes the drive away part a little bit simpler, so you're not pulling the whole thing out at one time and sort of having to maneuver the pegs, etc. It's just quite a convenient option. Right guys, well thanks for watching another one of our YouTube product reviews. Today we've been looking at the Kela 2 and all its new specifications for 2015. If you want some more info, then head to our webpage at www.penroseoutdoors.co.uk and you can check out all the floor plans, any extra videos, any extra pictures you want to see for more details. Otherwise, you could have a look at the Supera 2 if you're interested in something a little bit bigger than the Kela 2. It basically comes out an extra sort of metre and a half. It gets a whole new extra beam, so you've got 3 beams to pump up. It just gives you that extra floor space. It's exactly the same other than that. The connection systems are the same. It comes in the Supera standard and the Supera tool, so fitting different styles and heights of vans. But other than that, thanks guys for watching. Have a great day.